and think they can do it themselves, much like the Tesla model. I think common sense tells you that the process needs to be simple. It needs to be easy. There is technology out there that exists today that allows that whole process to be done. The next challenge, and I know there's people working on it day and night right now, to digitalize all these applications in terms of the titling side of it. That's the big pain point right now. It's still a piece of paper, and it's the biggest pain point in the world for ACV, because you think about it, we had to move 30,000 titles in January and 29,000 in February and most of those were not they were intrastate. They were, Michigan to Ohio, Ohio to Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania to Illinois. It wasn't Ohio to Ohio, which makes the job even that much more difficult. That's all going to work itself out. It's going to take some time. But now's the reason why some of that will be addressed, because when the states do figure it out, it's going to save them all a lot of money. And I think right now is a great time they become far more approachable today about, hey, would you like to put $3 million onto your bottom line in Michigan, or $3 million into Ohio or Illinois? I think that becomes a much more compelling argument right now.
Yeah, and I think dealers are going to have to stop chasing a new shiny toy out there and get back to basics and foundations. Now, I'm a big inventory guy. This is a whole used car conversation. I hate it seeing dealers talk about social media and digital marketing and SEO, SEM, all the new little gadgets out there, but yet their inventory look like crap. Photo descriptions are horrible, prices are too high, and they're in the meantime worrying about social media and stuff. And I'm like, get back to basics. So I think dealers, again, to this point, I think this will give them a step backwards and go, do we really need to go down this path? To James' point, let's get the process right before we step further into this and decide if this is the right road for us.
Jason, spot on. When our dealers, because everybody thinks there's some magic bullet out there that will automatically turn my dealership around if I buy a piece of software. And I've said this for 15 years now. You want to know what sells cars? Proper inventory. Inventory sells cars.
Proper inventory, market it properly.
You stole my thunder. I was going to say, what I do is help them find your inventory.
Yeah, exactly.
but inventory will always sell cars, right?
Yeah,
there's a reason why if we put on a 2007 Toyota 4Runner with 70,000 miles on any dealer website in America, they're going to have 30 leads overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just going to happen.
Here's a thought. Let me just finish this text here. Here's a thought. Unemployment, people losing jobs. Okay. That's obviously going to have an impact on the demand, on the ability to buy cars. Credit's probably going to get ruined. That's going to have an impact. So realistically, and patterns and behaviors are going to change, right? I think in the tech world, grocery stores are a little bit apprehensive, because what they're realizing is that people are going to be more adept, and not just grocery stores, but like food service as well, like restaurants. People are now going to be more adept to getting their groceries and their food, online delivered to them. And I think we could see the same thing in the car industry.
Going to happen.
Because we're going to have to adapt and make the process more digital, if you will. To take like vehicle subscriptions right now. And if you can't sell a car, you can still rent cars, and vehicle subscriptions are done all in app. You have your insurance, and your maintenance is usually built into it. It's all done in app, and it's not a sale. You don't need the DMV for that. Right. So something like this could hypothetically,
I think we'll take a step backwards before we go forward, and hear me out. I might sound stupid here, but I do think if people have been quarantined for winter, they've been, all winter they're quarantined. Now they're quarantined to a flu, once they can get out of their house, they might actually not mind go drive down to the local dealer and just walk around the lot just to get out, and go, what, let's just meet some people, go look at some cars, so we might take a step backwards where people actually show up on the lot just to get out. And then, we'll grow into that phase. But I don't know. You think I'm wrong on that?
No, I think Jason, I was trying to jump in, but think about your neighborhood in the last 3 weeks. My neighborhood with social distancing, I think I've seen more of my neighbors in the last 3 weeks than I've seen in 3 years. And it's bringing back that personal interaction. And I think service is going to be the thing that starts selling cars again. I hope it does. Like with a reset, you buy from the person that took great care of you. You buy from the person that will be there after the sale. Bring us back together as people.
It'll be like the American flags after 9/11. They were everywhere and they lasted maybe 9 months or a year. Then it kind of all faded back and people went back to it. So I do think there's going to be a reset where people are going to want to buy from people they know, like, and trust. And they've done enough shopping online. They actually want to get back to walking around Bass Pro Shop for a little bit and go see the fish and stuff and go maybe, kick some tires for something, just to do something. Cause they've been cooped up for 4 or 5 months with winter. And now they've been cooped up for 4 or 5 months in the spring. They're going to want to maybe mingle a little bit.
Jason, don't just show off with your 5 months of winter down in Kansas. We got 9 months of winter up here in Minnesota. So we're really stir crazy that it got nice.
Yeah. It's like, it's 50 degrees. I need to get out.
It is. It's 50 degrees right now. I'm freaking out. I'm not outside.
Stu, it looks nice and sunny where you are. Where are you again?
I'm in Cleveland, Ohio, of all places.
Okay.
It is sunny. It's 55 degrees today. I went outside and ran for about an hour. It was a really nice day. I took my dog and to James's point, there's an awful lot of people out walking around because they aren't working. They're out and about when it's nice. When the sun's not shining, it's not so much. But when that sun's out, there's a lot of pent up demand. But having said that, I think because so many people have been furloughed or their economic position has been changed this could be for a longer period of time. I think to Jason's point, I think the ramp up coming out of it might be longer than some of the other catastrophes, especially the natural disasters that we've all lived through, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, that kind of stuff. It stops, but then it starts very quickly again because there's a need. This is going to be a much slower ramp up, I think, and a gradual return. It's going to take a little bit longer. That's and flip side of it is because they aren't producing a lot of new inventory, the inventory balance will be probably better than it's been for some period of time for those dealers that
That's a good point because supply is going to be diminished drastically for a long time.
Well, and dealers aren't chasing the back end money right now either because they can't get it. Those volume quotas that the OEMs have put out there, whether it's quarterly or monthly, they're unrealistic based on the numbers that Guy shared and everybody's looking at right now. So now dealers are saying, well, I'm not going to sell that car on the 28th and lose $4,000 on it in hopes of getting 10 grand or 15 grand back or 50 grand back because they're not going to reach that number. Right.
And leases aren't going to happen. So 2-3 years down the road, who's going to lease a car when you get 0% for 84 months, and payments deferred for 6 months? I mean, they're going to be buying.
So, I mean, that's a new horizon for a lot of dealers. Most dealers have been operating in that I don't care what I lose mentality. So put whatever I need to do to make the deal, especially if it's the last week of the month and I'm close. That's all gone out the window right now. Maybe this will prove to the OEMs they don't have to do it. I don't know. I hope it does, but I'm never one to have too much confidence in them understanding it.
James, do you have, and guys, if you got to go, I know we've been on here for an hour and a half now. I don't feel like you're obligated to be here. I did relaunch the live stream. We were talking about some pretty important stuff. So I'm like, I'll relaunch this. And James, do you have time to get into some analytics type of information that you have?
I have a call in about 10 minutes, but I can just tell you some search trends that I've seen if that'll help. I do by vehicle, right? And I do week over week right now because I really want to see the week over week comparison on specific vehicles because everybody loves to talk about bad news right now. Nobody likes to talk about, well, what models are people sitting at home searching for right now? What models aren't they searching for? Because one thing is, if someone is in the market for any type of vehicle, no matter the phase, they have plenty of time to get in front of their computers right now. So demand is dropping overall, but like week over week, Grand Cherokee is actually up 6% in searches. Just the keywords Grand Cherokee is up 6% week over week. Ram brand was actually up on the new car side for the quarter. Yes, that was because this kicked off March 13th-ish, right? But they were going super strong, and they're only down right now year over year 12% for total searches, and week over week from last week to this week they're actually up 7%.
Which
So
car?
that was a Ram half ton, Ram 1500. Okay. And then variations of that. So Ram 1500, Ram half ton, Ram, so on and so forth. And then I look into specific markets where overall automotive searches, say in Los Angeles, they were down 21% 2 weeks ago. They're only down 12% year over year this week. So people are getting out there and starting to search. I don't know if it's because they have more time on their hands, but this goes to Jason's point about merchandising your freaking vehicles, right? No matter what, I don't care. They always say, or I used to always say when I was a used car manager, a lot of times the first deal is the best deal, right? A lot of times the first deal is the best deal when you're working a used car deal. And I think if you look at the trends, you'll see that there is still demand out there, and you still need to make sure your pictures are up. You need to make sure the vehicle's merchandised. You can't let A, B, and C not happen, but still think D, E, and F in the process will happen, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, et cetera. So overall search demand is coming back, which is neat, right? Market by market. But I would urge all dealers to make sure you are merchandising your vehicles, you are putting your best foot forward, and you're not canceling things like auto check or whatever on your website, showing vehicle history reports and those types of things. Make sure we're seeing the forest through the trees, because, even if search is down 20%, that still means that 80% of the people searching for that are still out in the marketplace. And let's get in front of them. Because like a couple of dealers have said to me, hey, yeah, my sales are still going to be down, say 50%. Well, I still need to capitalize on the 50% that come in, or the 50% I have opportunities with. So that's where I work at search trends. If I see that Cherokees or Grand Cherokees still have a good search volume, I'm going to desk that deal or pencil that deal a little bit differently, where if it's down 70%.
I totally agree. That's kind of why I'm going to bring that up. There is market that exists, but it's just, you got to see it. You got to identify it, and you have to have a strategy to go after that market. But the market is still there.
Yeah, there's industries booming through this stuff. I mean, shoot, board games are probably booming, I mean, there's different industries that are booming. There's people out there still be able to buy stuff, and again, switching. And so your virtual lot's going to be open, is always open, regardless if your physical lot's not. So staying on top of all that and the search trends and stuff like that, get your cars in front of people. That's the beauty of it. It used to be you put your building on the most busy street in the intersection and busy street in town just to get that exposure back in the day. And you could, there's no way to direct traffic into your lot without putting a policeman on the corner and directing traffic into your vehicles. You had no way to control, other than you try to do a mailer, try to get more traffic, no way to control people seeing your vehicles. Nowadays with the internet, you have a lot of control. You have a lot of control to get more exposure on your cars. And that's your job right now. It's a virtual lot. It's open 24/7. And this is the time for dealers to get that, understand that, and get the best habits and processes in place.
Make it as transparent as possible.
Mm-hmm. Brandon,
my suggestion. ACV just purchased a company, going back to the vehicle history reports. We purchased a company recently called True Frame, which is a product called True 360.
Yeah.
I don't know whether you've heard of it or not,
Mm-hmm.
but it helps dealers not only on the wholesale side of their business, but this is a product that takes any vehicle accident history report that has identified an accident in that report. And think about it. I mean, two ladies in a shopping center run into each other. They call the police because they wanted they need it for an insurance claim on two bumpers on two cars, right? That doesn't devalue the car, yet the vehicle history report, be it Carfax or AutoCheck, identifies accident report. The consumer's first thought is, I'm not buying that car because it's been in an accident. In reality, if you can explain and have a third-party view of what caused the accident and what kind of damage was on the accident, it makes all the difference in the world, and it doesn't necessarily devalue that car from a retail perspective. And it also allows dealers to possibly retail some inventory that they too, because it says accident reported, they want to wholesale it. it's interesting that we bought this company with the idea of not only helping the wholesale side of the business, but probably extending our relationship now into the used car retail side of a dealer's operation. It's pretty interesting, and we're cross training our people to do both.
Well, let's keep a pulse on things. Brandon, while we were talking, had a couple comments. He said, now's a good time to accessorize oversized trucks and gun racks.
I think he's right.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right. The other comment that I had before I have to go is along James's comment. You know, he said that his first deal sometimes is the best deal. My comment is your first loss is your best one. So, I mean, if you're gonna sell something at a loss, the first time somebody gives you a number on that loss, take it, no matter whether you think it's worth more or not.
Well, it's good advice, guys. I'm glad we were able to do this. I've been, the panels, these have been evolving, because just like everything, these have been evolving. So I'm always trying to find the best way to, get the information we all need. It's a moving target. I think, as you saw, I said, the way I'm switching the program up, this will be every 6 weeks versus every month. And 6 weeks sounds like a long time from now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds like a long time. So for Brandon and Lee, for those that are on the webinar, you are now registered with the Used Car Marketing Program. You don't have to re-register. And Stu, I wanted to let you know that as well. You don't have to register each event. You're already registered.
Thanks.
And then, it's right up here. So, and as I said, this is one of 6 programs we run. So we're going to move these to Tuesdays. All of these will be on Tuesdays at 2:00 Central. And if you want to be on the panel, here's what you guys want to do. And you guys, hopefully you see this too. We have a Facebook event and an influencers group. And in the influencers group, about a week or two prior, I put an announcement here about the upcoming session. And if you don't even have to plan to be on it, but if you think you have a good talking point or subject, go ahead and just leave a comment here, right, on something you think we should talk about, and we'll make that part of the conversation. That applies to, anybody that's, whether they're on the webinar or not. And if you want to be on the panel, then obviously just let me know, and we'll make that happen. So, Jason, Stu, thank you.
Thanks.
And folks, thanks for tuning in, being here. I'm going to take us offline, and this will be on the podcast at some point. I'm behind on podcasts, but we are trying to get caught up. So let me know if I can be of service for any of you out there. Appreciate taking the time to be here and being a part of this. Keep your head up. And, I think if anything, got a lot of clarity. There's a lot to solve, a lot to figure out. Keep the conversations going, and let your neighbors know what you can do for them. I'm Ryan Girardi. I'm going to shut off the camera, and we'll be back on Tuesday for our advanced auto retail session. Take care, everyone.